Peter Convey. I'm a sole biologist with this bass slice expedition to the South Sandwich Islands. My purpose in being here is twofold. One is basically to describe the terrestrial botany and zoology of the islands, which is very virtually unknown. And the second is to make a specific study of the plants and animals that are associated with these areas of warm ground, such as this one we're sitting on. The heat is produced geothermally, it's volcanic heat. You can see the steam rising. In some cases around here, the steam's being emitted from very specific small vents. In the ground behind me, it's being emitted over a much wider area. So if you look across this strip, the bare or partly bare strip in the middle is all steaming, is all heated ground. Surface temperature of this ground is between 30 and 40 degrees C. These little tufts of moss you see growing on it are growing at 30 plus degrees centigrade, and if inserting a probe through them, by the time you get 5 centimetres below them into the ash, the temperature's up between 60 and 75 degrees centigrade.
Within the vast frozen landscape of Antarctica with its associated penguins is a strange geologic oddity. At the mouth of a large glacier, a blood-red river of water gushes out into the surrounding valley. Because it looks like the glacier is bleeding, the overall feature is known as blood falls. This beautiful geologic wonder starkly contrasts with the coloration of the surrounding white glaciers. The strange color of this feature was previously attributed to red algae, but this is not the actual cause of its coloration. Although Blood Falls is right next to a dormant volcano, it is not volcanic in origin. This video will discuss this geologic oddity and describe how it formed. Blood Falls can be found 3,500 kilometers south of Dunedin in a remote section of Antarctica. It is only 100 kilometers west of McMurdo Station and the actively erupting Mount Erebus stratovolcano. Even from satellite, you can see the staining of this bright red feature. The reason why it exists is quite unusual. Its origin can be traced back approximately 3 million years when the global sea level was much higher than it is today. At the time, a large patch of seawater existed in the adjacent fjord. The climate cooled and an ice age began 2.4 million years ago. Global sea levels dropped, causing the seawater to become isolated. A large glacier advanced over this patch of seawater, trapping and burying it beneath a thick layer of ice. During the initial advance of this glacier, termed the Taylor Glacier, the ice carved away at iron-rich volcanic rock. Loose pieces of iron were transported into the lake, much of which ionized within the seawater. The water at the surface of this newly buried seawater soon froze over as it contained a low amount of salt. This caused the underlying water to become even more hypersaline. As this process repeated over many thousands of years, the water became so hypersaline that it couldn't even freeze at negative 18 degrees Celsius or 0 degrees Fahrenheit. This iron-rich brine remained for more than 2 million years in an environment which is completely devoid of oxygen. The concentration of iron ions present within the water was unable to become oxidized. During the latest interglacial period where humans spread around the globe, the Taylor Glacier greatly retreated. This allowed for sections of the brine to flow through cracks in the overall structure. Once this iron-ion-rich hypersaline water came into contact with oxygen, it almost instantaneously turned bright red. Blood Falls represents the first time the aforementioned water has come into contact with oxygen in more than 2 million years.
And now for news of our own West Coast, we take you to Los Angeles and the report of Byron Palmer. Anti-aircraft guns went into action against unidentified aircraft in the Los Angeles area shortly after 3 a.m. Pacific wartime this morning. The anti-aircraft guns began barking during a blackout ordered by the 4th Interceptor Command at 2:25 a.m. The unidentified object, which some sources thought might be a blimp, moved slowly down the Pacific coast from Santa Monica and disappeared south of Long Beach. Army officials declined to comment on the possibility that the object might have been a blimp. However, it required nearly 30 minutes to travel some 25 miles, far slower than an airplane. Watchers on the rooftop of the Columbia Broadcasting Building in the heart of Hollywood could plainly see the flashes of guns and searchlights sweeping the skies in a wide arc along the coastal area. Concussion of the shells could be felt in downtown Los Angeles, 15 miles away. U.S. Army planes quickly took to the dark sky, but whether they contacted the object has not been announced. Army officials say they will not comment until they receive a full report of the action. Although some watchers say they saw airplanes in the air, semi-official sources say they probably were the U.S. Army's pursuit. Several observers say they saw one or more planes spotlighted by 20 or 30 searchlights. The object moved southward, presumably over Huntington Park at the western edge of Los Angeles, and on southward to about Long Beach on the coast. By 3:30 a.m., observers said the object appeared to be over the south of Long Beach.